Hello, New Wave of British Heavy Metal.com here. Today it's the 5th of March 2023. As usual, if I could ask for a little favour before we start, and that's if you would please subscribe to the channel, that'd be marvellous and appreciated. So please do click that button if you would. Right, today Rick Wakeman's back with a new album. The legend that is Rick Wakeman, and this is called A Gallery of the Imagination. Now, if you're familiar with Rick and remember him from the old days of the 70s, you know, with all those overblown, fantastically marvellous concept albums, you know, like Journey to the Centre of the Earth, Myths and Legends of King Arthur, Six Wives of Henry VIII and all that, and that's what you might be expecting now. Well, not quite. But he's done something a little bit different from what you might have been expecting, if like me, that's when you first got into Rick back in the 70s. His previous album to this, The Red Planet, was a return to that 70s style, you know, the keyboard synth dominated, marvellous progressive rock of the highest order. But with this album, with A Gallery of the Imagination, it's a little bit different, and I think it's personal to Rick, is what I feel after listening to it a few times. The booklet notes in there, Rick explains that the inspiration came from his early piano teacher, who encouraged him when playing to imagine painting a picture. And he says that that's what he continues to do even now, and that influences how he plays. And on A Gallery of the Imagination, Rick says it's all geared towards the imagination of the listener to paint those pictures however they interpret the music for themselves while listening, which is quite interesting, isn't it, really? We've got 12 tracks, 2 instrumentals, 2 solo piano pieces, and 8 vocal tracks. And again, he's joined by the English rock ensemble, which comprises Hayley Sanderson on vocals, Dave Colquhoun on guitar, Lee Pomeroy on bass, and Ash Sohn on drums. Now, the album is, of course, impeccably performed, but for me, it's a little bit lightweight. Now, I get what Rick's aim is around the painting of the pictures while listening and all that, but however, musically, in my opinion, it doesn't work, and it's not really in general to my taste overall. The opener, Hidden Depths, when I first listened to it, that did raise hopes of a, you know, classic Rick, nice punchy instrumental, nice guitar part, trademark Wakeman keys and synth flourishes all over it, after that gentle piano introduction. Good stuff to start with. But then it kind of, what came next, you know, well, anyway, the other 2 instrumental pieces, the other instrumental piece and the 2 piano solos are enjoyable and instantly recognizable as typical Rick Wakeman. However, it's the 8 vocal tracks that I mostly really can't get along with. Now, no doubt Hayley Sanderson's got a fine voice, but I found it a little bit cloying. Songs such as, you know, Man on the Moon and a Mirage in the Clouds are rather lightweight for me. Cuban Carnival, rather too cheesy. You can probably guess what that sounds like just from the title. The only one I can properly relate to and imagine whilst listening is A Day Spent on the Pier. Yes, it's a gentle number. However, if you're of a certain age living here in the UK, the lyrics will take you back to those childhood holidays at the seaside when A Day on the Pier was a big thing. You know, if you remember back to the late 60s, early 70s when things like this went on, you know, the Day on the Pier was, well, it was a really big thing of those childhood holidays. You know, you had your ice cream and your candy floss. You went up and down the Helter Skelter. You walked back to the hotel eating fish and chips out of newspapers and stuff like that. Instantly took me back to childhood holidays in North Wales, for example, where there was a pier. And we did go on it just about every day. But anyway, musicianship-wise, excellent here. Tasteful guitar, precise melodic bass lines, crisp drumming. Rick does let rip with those trademark mazy, dexterous, typically unmistakably Wakeman solo runs as well, which are always enjoyable. But for me, saying, well, maybe I've not listened to it enough, but overall, it's not a bad album, I'd say. It's not a bad album, but it's probably one I won't listen to that often. I get what Rick's aim is with the Gallery of the Imagination concept, and that it must be something of a personal thing for him, though say that those 8 vocal tracks don't quite work for me. The instrumentals, on the other hand, do, in particular the Dinner Party, which has got some really excellent synth work going on there. But anyway, all that said, for a bloke like Rick, who's been around as long as he has and done as much as he's done over the decades, I say he's earned the right to do whatever the hell he feels like doing musically, and long may he continue to do so. But anyway, so whilst the Gallery of the Imagination's probably not really for me, it might be for you. If you'd like to check it out some more, as always, I'll put a link to the album on Amazon in the description box, various formats available, so you can go and do that if you'd like to. Please subscribe to the channel before you go, that really would be excellent. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and take care.